Thank you for your warm welcome. I'm asking me here to speak this evening. So for some of you, this may be the first time you have ever seen someone with schizophrenia who isn't actively psychotic. So how do I look? As you can see, I suffer from one of the biggest complaints that the antipsychotic medications cause, weight gain. I like pastries. My wife said I had to come and speak tonight. She's the daughter of a Teamster and the sister of the president of the AFL-CIO for the state of Oklahoma. She said if I could help out a union, I'd better or else, and I make it a rule never to mess with my wife. I have spent the last 2 weeks giving interviews and answering questions about Alberta Hospital. It always sounds so benevolent to say that instead of locking people up in a hospital to treat them in the community instead, it appears as if we want to hold them in our bosoms and care for them. I've been to a few hearings where a proposed group home is trying to get established, and I promise you, most people don't want a group home in their neighborhood. With that kind of resistance to those that have been stabilized in hospital for weeks or months, can you imagine if the group home is for those that are actively psychotic and need a secure facility? How many here would truthfully want them next door to them in their homes? When asked what my first thoughts were on the announced closure of Alberta Hospital, I always answer the same thing. It was fear. I'm afraid for my friends. I have a friend who goes on and off his medication, as many of you know is the pattern, about once a year, and he just was released from Alberta Hospital. Where would he go the next time his illness tells him his medication is poison? I'm afraid for myself and my wife. If I become psychotic again, I won't care what happens to me. I'll be happy. I'll be out of it, but I'll be happy. But my wife will have to deal with getting me treatment. Where will she turn if the capacity in the mental health system is reduced? Where will the mother of a teenager turn when her child suddenly becomes someone she doesn't recognize? The advent of schizophrenia. If he is a juvenile, she may be able to force him to get some help. If he is one day past his 18th birthday, she is already fighting an uphill battle. When the politicians talk about how they are not going to kick anyone out of a bed until they have a place to go, it sounds wonderfully compassionate. That's fine for the ones who are sick now. But what about those who will become ill 2 years from now? Shutting the hospital down will not magically cure all illnesses, mental illnesses and others, that are treated there. I am a loyal Canadian, and I generally support our elected officials. I recognize we are in tough times. I know that there will have to be some belt-tightening because of the price of oil and gas. But this seems like penny wise and pound foolish. When it comes to mental illness and the individuals whose lives are affected by them, you cannot just think about the bottom line. Most people who suffer from schizophrenia and other serious mental illnesses are more dangerous to themselves than to others. But when one is in crisis, and it does happen, and they act out violently, it is usually in such a dramatic fashion that it garners headlines that are very bad for stigma. I don't think that the government has calculated the real cost of closing this facility. I have spent the last 2 days trying to keep a facility in Tanoka that houses 16 homeless, mentally ill men from being closed by the same government that says it wants to move to community treatment. I am puzzled really by what the government truly wants. These last 2 weeks I felt under siege. I suppose those of you here who are worried about your jobs feel the same way right now. A society is remembered by how it treated the most vulnerable individuals. I am so pleased that so many people have taken up the cause of trying to keep this facility open. I know that if the price of oil was back up to $150 a barrel, we wouldn't be here tonight. I'm here to speak for those who have no voice, for those who are afraid to speak, my fellow persons with schizophrenia and bipolar and depression. The people in charge are trying to balance our provincial budget didn't ask my opinion on the issue any more than they asked yours. Together, though, perhaps we can make ourselves be heard.